My name's Andrew J. Assini. That's like my official name. Most of the time I just go by Drew. As introduced, I get to teach psychology in the psych department where I got my degrees from and where I got clean too. Go over my official roles as a person. I am a psych professor, licensed drug and alcohol counselor, and a mental health professional. Work predominantly with young adults and adolescents. And then I'm also a recovering addict with over 9 years clean. So, and keeping that rolling for anybody that's got like literally a day clean, right? It's a huge accomplishment just to get a day. Where to go from here? But so moment in time wise, I also can't move off the rug. I like to talk and walk at the same time, so. Get a small window. All right, so I guess my moment in time started it's like 3 weeks and 10 years ago. I found myself in a orange jumpsuit. It was a one-piece though, it wasn't a two-piece. I see you guys got a little more to work with there. But yeah, orange jumpsuit and coming off of a run. So I was basically left in the facility to detox, curled up in a ball, crying and other bodily fluids happening, and that was kind of the moment where I realized that like something had to be different. Right? I was the kid with all the potential in the world. I was the kid in the classroom who I would be talking in the back and annoying everyone, and then the teacher would try to call on me, but I knew the answer because I was still somewhat paying attention. So I was that kid. And the college scholarship, I had a free ride, threw that away. Relationships, bridges burned, all that good stuff. And then, and then all of a sudden I was in an orange jumpsuit, curled up in a ball, and I didn't know how I got there. So it's funny because shortly after I was curled up in a ball and I got through some of that, I got my little milk carton and my bologna sandwich, and was contemplating my life. And my current surroundings, because I was about 6'1", I'm still 6'1", but I was about 60 pounds lighter. I was like $130 soaking wet, and I was just lost. So here I am in this facility, orange jumpsuits all around, soaking wet, 130 pounds, and it dawned on me that I had to do one of two things, because I've watched movies and television shows. I either have to go after the biggest guy in the room, right, which was not going to happen, or I had to be crazy. So I'd done crazy really well. So what I decided to do, what I had decided to do that was crazy was actually I was going to go sit in the corner and put my back against the wall because I could feel a little more safe. And I went into sitting meditation. Right? So I'd read about it. I'd practiced a little bit here and there, but the drugs they kind of give you more what you want exactly when you want it. Meditation, you got to like work at. So I decided to go into sitting meditation. At first, it was like with my eyes slightly opened because I still wasn't comfortable with the surroundings. But just started to meditate. Really, emotions started to kind of like come through, memories from life. Really revisiting a lot of points in my life that had led up to that moment. So I'm sitting there in meditation. I actually let my eyes close for a minute, and then I open my eyes, and sitting on either side of me is a couple scary individuals, right? Because I'm like a suburban white kid from Jersey, right? So I mean, I don't belong in certain parts of the world. But there were two dudes on either side of me, like the neck tattoo, face tattoo, like just scary looking guys to me, right? And they're sitting next to me, and I'm like a little worried, and then I realize that they're actually meditating too, right? So all of a sudden, so it's like me and the two scariest guys I could see are sitting down, we're all meditating together, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. All right, so now, instead of being scared, now I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's right, yeah, we meditate in here, that's how we do it. So I noticed that story too, and let that pass, and just kept meditating. I wasn't getting out anytime soon, because I'd burned all the bridges, there were no phone calls left to make, there was no one to bail me out. Anyone who cared about me, I managed to push out of my life, because they didn't know what they were talking about, until there was no one left, and then obviously I was my problem. And that was a tough one to swallow. So time passes, meditation with my two new friends became meditation with like my 5 or 6 new friends, and it was cool. We had like a whole little like Sangha, whole little meditation group going on, and then I heard my name, Andrew Assini, please report to wherever it was, and got directly up and like ran. So it was a nice moment of like peace, sharing the Dhamma with a few friends. And then I got out of there as quick as I could. Because I'm not built for places where I have to stay for a long time. There's no mistake about that in my understanding. But really, that was one of the first times that meditation actually provided help for me. I previously read I like Eastern stuff, right? All that like hippy dippy Eastern whatever, be one with everything, that kind of stuff. I'd always loved it, and I'd also used it to justify my behaviors before, right? So I always tell a story. I was home on the couch like usual, high, doing nothing, and my mom comes home from work. And why don't you do anything with your life? What are you doing? Give me the whole, like what moms do. And I go, Mom, doing nothing is doing something. Right? It was awesome. I don't know. I mean, what do you even say to that, right? So I've learned to understand that in a different way now. It doesn't mean eating potato chips stoned on the couch. But it was cool because I'd always liked this stuff. And then in that moment, I saw that meditation could actually be super beneficial, right? Because I had all this fear that was spiking in this new place, filled with individuals who I would definitely lose fights to, and I was able to notice the thoughts. I was able to reflect on emotions that were arising, stories about my life, and notice them, and then they would go, and I was still here just breathing, and then I instantly transferred that into my life when I left. So, I mean, I didn't get clean right away because getting clean is a challenge. But I got clean about 6 months later or so, and meditation. And then I stumbled onto yoga, which is cool. Yoga is actually not just for soccer moms who want to look good in Lululemons, right? Lululemon is like a really expensive yoga pants. Anyway, yoga pants, right? That's all we got to say. So it's not just about that. Like yoga is actually much more of like a mindful breathing, right? And a lot of us in the audience have had experiences with it. And that started to become a part of my practice as well. And yeah, 9.5 years later, I went back to college. I got the degree. It took me 10 years to get my bachelor's, but whatever. It's not a race. We're all going to the same place. I got my bachelor's and then followed up quickly with my master's degree. The whole while, working on my recovery, doing things that I need to do on a daily basis in order to sustain this new way of living that I was engaging in. And then I got to start teaching in the department, right? My professors, my mentors, the people that taught me a new way of life in the education system are now my colleagues. And it's a really cool opportunity to be able to teach with the people that have led me into that development. And then recently I've opened it's called Samavayama Wellbeing. It's a holistic wellness center. So we do lots of regular yoga, meditation, courses on things that maybe science hasn't discovered yet, or is just beginning to find some factual evidence behind. So we do that there, and it's so awesome to be able to offer to folks in early recovery or folks that are just getting clean, or the university's right across the street. So we get a lot of the college kids that come in and turning them on to practices or activities that help them enhance their awareness of themselves, right? Because as many of us know, we can buy a new car, and it's wonderful, and it's awesome, and then it's not new, and then we need a new one, right? Or we can buy a new house, and it's great, and super, it's awesome, and then we need a new one. We're a very externally focused, brand new, shiny kind of culture, and it becomes problematic when we start to, when that desire starts to become unmanageable, if you will. Whereas if we turn inward and start to begin to explore our own attitudes, our own behaviors, we then open the door to really finding peace or freedom anywhere at any moment. And for me, that's a huge part of what the meditation and the yoga has offered. Yep, everything just left. It's actually a byproduct of meditating, right? So, I spend designated time every day, not listening to myself and just being here. And then I come to talks, and if there's a moment of space, it's like, whew, everything's gone. Oh, well. So it can be a little problematic, but at the same time, when I'm in my life and certain events don't go the way I want them to because I know how things should go in order to get me what it is that I think I need, or that's how I suffer, actually. But if I can notice those things and let those go, then I'm still here with y'all folk, and we're just having a really cool day. It takes time. Meditation is a practice. It doesn't happen overnight, right? Which is why in modern society we like immediate solutions. So it's why pharmaceuticals get thrown at things all the time. That's appropriate in some situations, but I think that a lot of what we are looking for as a people, and I'll speak for myself, what I'm looking for is not external, right? It's internal, right? If I can develop the ability to be at peace or at ease with whatever happens, then life's pretty cool. And it doesn't mean that life is going to be awesome all the time, right? Like life just happens, right? But how I deal with life in each moment, right, then defines where the path leads from there. So, I don't know. Sounds good. I'm just kind of making this up as we go, right? Yeah, I guess this would be cool, and then we'll leave it at that. Because honestly, I can say a bunch of words, but really until we have the experience for ourselves, right? Our own personal experiences always work best. Just kind of I'll put you on a timer, but we can all just maybe take a collective moment of just being aware of the breath as it's coming in, as it's going out through the nose. If you close your mouth, it makes it easier to notice the breath. But if you got a stuffed nose, you can just breathe through your mouth. Eyes open or eyes closed, you're sitting in a chair. But meditation can be done anywhere. You can do it while you're moving, walking, sitting. You don't have to be in some ridiculous pose, or anything like that. But yeah, just taking a moment to kind of take some deep breaths together as a whole, because this is, I don't know. We've all made this happen today. It's been pretty awesome. So just a moment of reflection, maybe gratitude, and just some deep breaths in and out. Thank you guys for your time.